Chandra, she comes from India. Can you give us an update on the India-US trade deal?
First of all, I have great respect for your Prime Minister. He's a fantastic man and friend of mine, and we're going to have a good deal.
He spoke to your channel and he said very clearly, Modi is a great man. I respect him tremendously, a fantastic man. He's a friend of mine and we'll have a great deal.
You know, though it was just 2-3 sentences, what he said was significant. So perhaps we are closer to a deal than ever before. But clearly he had very good things to say about Prime Minister Modi.
Shifting our focus to Davos now. At the World Economic Forum viewers in Davos, US President Donald Trump delivered a combative speech justifying tariffs. In a sharp attack on Europe, Trump said the continent was not heading in the right direction and urged EU leaders to learn from his administration. Yes, you heard that right. He reiterated his push for the US to acquire Greenland, calling it a vast, undefeated territory of strategic importance between America, Russia and China, though he also said that force would not be used. And in an exclusive response to money control, President Donald Trump praised Prime Minister Modi as a great friend and said that a good deal with India will be finalized soon. Meanwhile, European lawmakers have suspended the approval of the trade deal the EU and US agreed in July. European Parliament has said that the recent plans by Trump to impose tariffs of between 10% to 25% on European nations goes against the terms of the trade pact. Have a look.
This is significant and, it was very unexpected, but we had to take our shot. So we were waiting with the other foreign press and, he was just walking by. So we just took our shot and luckily he responded. I think, though it was just 2-3 sentences, what he said was significant. He said, look, I have tremendous respect for your Prime Minister. He's a fantastic man and a friend of mine. We are going to have a good deal. Now, this is important because this comes just 2 weeks after, remarks by Howard Lutnick went viral, where he said the trade deal is stalled because Modi did not pick up the phone and speak to Trump. So the fact that Trump is saying that we are going to have a good deal will certainly calm the markets. It will reassure investors because sectors like textiles, engineering goods, gems and jewelry, all of them have been hit hard by peak tariffs. So perhaps we are closer to a deal than ever before. But clearly he had very good things to say about Prime Minister Modi. Essentially, he started at 2:30 and he went on and on and on, as you were watching, right? He covered everything from the Fed chairman to Venezuela to Greenland to Denmark to Emmanuel Macron. And, there was visible exhaustion in the room because he overshot his limit by at least 15 minutes. And then there was a fireside. So I was just walking around the Congress Center to figure out, where all the foreign press is stationed. Because, in previous interactions, I've noticed that President Trump is pretty open to taking questions from the press. So I thought, why not, just take my shot? And luckily, there was no other Indian journalist there. It was just a crush of foreign press, countries from China, Norway. So I just sort of hustled my way into a corner. So we were told that when president exits, so the Norwegian journalist told me that typically when the president exits the main hall of the Congress Center, he will go up this grand staircase, that you see, because he likes a shot of himself on top of the grand staircase. So 3 of us positioned ourselves right at the corner of that grand staircase. And I knew that I would just have 5 seconds. So I had just one question to ask. And I ensured that I said from India so that, he stopped because it was a different press. Because as soon as he entered the room, there was a crush of reporters. Everyone went on Greenland, NATO, EU. So, it was all the European press. So just when he came to the balustrade, just as he was climbing the staircase, I just said, Mr. President from India. So then he just stopped and I asked him, can you give us an update on the Indo-US trade deal? Because, that's the one question. We don't care about what's happening with Greenland and Denmark and Iran and so on. As far as India-US is concerned, it is the trade deal. Mr. President, this is Chandra. She comes from India. Can you give us an update on the India-US trade deal?
First of all, I have great respect for your Prime Minister. He's a fantastic man and friend of mine, and we're going to have a good deal. Thank you. First of all, I have great respect for your Prime Minister. He's a fantastic man and friend of mine, and we're going to have a good deal. Thank you.
And I love Europe, and I want to see Europe go good, but it's not heading in the right direction. The places where you come from can do much better by following what we're doing, because certain places in Europe are not even recognizable, frankly, anymore. They're not recognizable. Here in Europe, we've seen the fate that the radical left tried to impose on America. They tried very hard. Germany now generates 22%. Chancellor's fault. He's solving the problem. He's going to do a great job. After the war, we gave Greenland back to Denmark. How stupid were we to do that? But we did it. But we gave it back. But how ungrateful are they now? But every NATO ally has an obligation to be able to defend their own territory. And the fact is, no nation or group of nations is in any position to be able to secure Greenland other than the United States. We need it for strategic national security and international security. This enormous unsecured island is actually part of North America.